All right, I want to continue this discussion on normality. So we're going to branch into this idea, I guess, disorders. So if you deviate from the norm, apparently that makes you disordered. Let's start with this one called antisocial disorder, which is, we'll look it up in the DSM. I use the DSM-5. I think a lot of people still like to use the DSM-4. I'm not real sure which ones they use or not. I'm not in the field, so I don't know exactly. But let's give this a shot here. Let me open up this display. So this is the antisocial personality disorder, and there's also one for kids called conduct disorder. So I kind of want to look at the conduct disorder as well a little bit. So essentially, antisocial disorder, pervasive pattern of disregard for and violation of the rights of others. So this is absolutely, this really is funny to me. A pervasive pattern or disregard for, a pervasive pattern of disregard for the violation of rights of others. So why do I find this funny? Because they talk about rights. So rights. Let's bring up Jeremy Bentham. Okay, so are we gonna have a discussion about Jeremy Bentham in this DSM? Jeremy Bentham said that rights are. I can't remember the exact phrase, but something like rights are nonsense on stilts. In other words, it's a completely bogus idea. There's no such thing as rights. They're completely made up. And he's not the only one who says that. In fact, I have colleagues who have written some books on this, actually. I've a colleague of mine at a university who actually wrote a book asserting that there's no such thing as rights. There is no such thing as rights. This is a very deep philosophical question, in fact. A lot of people assume that rights exist, but when you get into a philosophy class, you come to realize, well, this is actually, maybe they don't exist, especially the idea of natural rights. For millennia, we never believed in this notion of natural rights. It's actually a fairly new idea. I believe it was in the 1600s. John Locke came up with the notion of natural rights. You could actually go further back to Thomas Hobbes, who I think he also mentions the idea of natural rights. But, like I said, Jeremy Bentham completely disagreed. He said it's nonsense on stilts. So we're not just talking about something physical, or we're not talking about something empirical. That's something that you see, observe. This is something that's invisible, right? Rights are not something that you can see. Science is empiricism, right? Empirical. Empirical meaning that you use your senses to come to conclusions. So if we're talking about science, which is empirical, then you need to be able to see it. You can't see, touch, taste, smell, or feel, whatever the last one is. I don't even know my six senses. Whatever one I left out in there. But you can't sense the existence of rights, right? It's a metaphysical idea. We're talking about metaphysics, ontology. I mean, come on. This cannot be in the realm of science. It's in the DSM-4, though. They actually diagnose someone with antisocial disorder if they violate someone's rights, which we don't even know if they even exist. Rights is a controversial notion. I mean, some people would say that, and in fact, my colleague, like he said in his book, he says that rights, the belief in rights is harmful to society. So, yeah, man, that is so. What's the word I want to look for? I almost want to say narcissistic, which is one of the disorders they have. Man, it's just it's arrogant to just sit here and put forth these things and call it science. And the world just believes it. The world buys it. They're like, well, we give great respect to these ideas because they're scientists. This is so arbitrary. This definition has such a high level of arbitrariness to it. Let's dig in a little bit more. Let's look at this a little more. Give me 1 second here. Failure to conform to social norms with respect to lawful behaviors. Again, this just cracks me up. As indicated by repeatedly performing acts that are grounds for arrest. So, this disorder, this psychological condition of the brain, right? So biology. Our understanding of this brain depends upon the existence of laws. The existence of laws. Are not laws these like man-made creations? Was there not a time that we didn't have laws? I mean, so it sounds like these psychological disorders came about through the creation of laws. Man, just amazing that they would say something like that. So to break the law. And if you look at the conduct disorder, they have a truancy. A student who skips school a lot. It's an example of breaking the law. And it's just like, okay, I mean, truancy laws didn't even exist until we had mandatory school systems. And then now there's a kind of a presumption that, oh, well, if you violate these, the laws of mandatory schooling, then you are disordered. I guess, hopefully getting a sense of how dangerous ideas like that are. Number one, this is not science, but number two, to say, well, we have a social structure, and don't you ever think about violating that social structure or the social norm. Man, that sounds so dangerous to me. For example, I mean, what if this person was living in Nazi Germany, and they violated the Nazi German laws? Would that person now have antisocial disorder? I keep saving Jews, right? I keep violating the laws of Nazi Germany, so therefore I must have antisocial disorder. Or I keep skipping Nazi school, right? The truancy laws in Nazi Germany because I don't want to be brainwashed by Nazis. To violate the norms of society, this is considered to be a disorder. Now, I mean, antisocial disorder is actually where they, I guess a lot of the psychopath and psychopathology and sociopathology, whatever you say it, sociopaths are supposed to fall into this category. And certainly, I'll buy this as an argument to say there's a certain category of people like this. But again, it's not a scientific argument, though. But putting all that aside, just reading the words from the DSM shows you how unscientific this stuff is. Let me take a look at some more of this real quick here. Consistent irresponsibility is indicated by repeated failure to sustain consistent work behavior or honor financial obligations. How dare you? How dare you not follow the rules of the workplace, right? Or, I mean, there must be something psychologically wrong with you if you violate, rules of society. We would hate for you to break the status quo. Yeah. So I think that's. Or let's look at violation of norms too. Violation of norms is another idea here. Let me think about. There's a movie called End of the Spear, which is a movie about there is a society, a tribal society, somewhere I think is in South America or something like that. And in this society, it was normal to kill people. This was one of their norms. Well, imagine violating that norm, right? Does it make you antisocial? It seems like it depends upon a particular. I mean, like they have a particular set of laws in mind as they wrote this, right? So it's like, well, there's our system of laws, and you better not violate our system of laws, or else it makes you disordered. All right, so that one, I figure I'll do this one disorder at a time. So that will be my video, I guess, on this deviation from the norm idea. under antisocial disorder. I think on the next one we're going to examine maybe ADHD, which I have serious problems with.